Yeah,
you're free.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so Vishnu just called me saying like he called Swatini, she didn't pick up, so I'm just calling you to say I'm not there today. So I said like, okay, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. Okay, 1 second, I'll just switch on the light. 1 second. Okay, so I have some things like I think like last week we did, of course, some things, but today I thought I think like we discussed about doing verbs today. So let us just get into one small practice of writing down. I just want you three, all the three of you, to write down 15 verbs or 15 things that you do on a daily basis in English, like to
Okay.
wake up, to brush, to bath, to get ready, to like that. 15 general verbs, and pick out just like, you have to just go to the day and just like run through your day, how usually your like, day looks like. And in case if you do some things like, for instance, like for sport, some people do it every day, some people do it once in a week, two or twice in a week. That also, if you feel it's important, just add on to your list. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes for it to jot down in an like, take a fresh page and see to that it's written well, so that when we learn about the German verbs, you will always have space to write down the German verbs on par with the English verbs. Just leave one or two lines between every verb, so that you will write down the verbs as well as a sentence, how to write down in a sentence. That's one thing that we will learn today. Hi Shrijesh, let's say a hi. How are you?
I'm, ma'am. I'm fine.
Good. Okay. So is the task clear? You can just do that on your own. 5 minutes you can take. 10, 4:15 we will meet again. Yeah. I'm here. If
Yeah.
you want to ask me anything, you can ask me. Yeah. Okay, so we can just like look into the verbs. So I'll just like share the, for instance, my screen. So the whiteboard. So we can just write down first of all what are all the verbs that you can think of. Yeah. Before that, I would like to just tell you what is it called first. And we say activities or your routines. We say that, right? So the title goes as D Tages Ablauf or Die Tagesaktivitäten. Die Tagesablauf oder die Tagesaktivitäten. That that is nothing but the day's routine or the daily rhythm. That's what we call it. Yeah, day's rhythm or day's routine. This is what it is. So then we will just go on to maybe green. Yeah. So the first one. What have you all written down? Any like you can just like tell me in English what are all the verbs that you have written down? And most of it is most of it. I think like everything is a verb because it's what you do, right? So it is all verbs that you do. To wake up, to brush, to eat. From all of this, it is verbs, right? So what is the first verb that you have written? Before that, just try to say that. No, wiederholen Sie bitte. Die Tagesablauf. How do you say it? Die
The
Tagesab.
Die
Mhm.
the
Tagesablauf.
Tiger Sublove.
It's not te, it's ta. The a has to be abcd. Tagesablauf. That's what
Ablauf.
a. Yeah,
Die
Tagesablauf.
Tagesablauf.
Yeah, and that's the second thing. What how you will say that is die Tagesaktivitäten. Here alone, that a umlaut is a, right? So that alone changes. Otherwise, it is die Tagesablauf, die Tagesaktivitäten. Yeah. Zum erst. Yeah. Zum erst
Das,
is like to wake
äh,
up.
Wake up.
Yeah. Have you all written down the first verb? Like to wake up. Is that what is in your list as well?
Yeah, ma'am.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So to wake up, for instance, it is like you have like two things in German. To wake up. To yeah. Can you hear me?
Ja, ma'am.
Yeah. Sorry. So do you know like the difference between to wake up to get up? What do you mean by wake up and to get up?
Wake up is like we getting back from the sleep,
Yeah.
and get
Get
up
up also is that only,
is
no.
get up.
Get, to get up is get up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's actually true, Ajal. The thing is, when you just your eyes open out from your sleep, you have woken up. Not that like the way like 5 minutes more alarm and then you go back to this deep sleep of yours and then come back and switch off the alarm, then sleep again. That's not the wake up I'm talking about. You are completely awake. Yeah, and you can't go to sleep again. That is aufwachen. Okay, that is to wake up. The verb is oops, it's not writing. Just hold on. It's called aufwachen. That sound has to come. Aufwachen. Can you? Yeah, just say
Of
that again.
Oh,
Aufwachen.
okay.
Mhm. That's to wake up and really getting out of that bed. Yeah. that you are throwing out all your sleepiness and then getting out from the bed is called aufstehen. There are two different things in Germany. Yeah, there are many words that doesn't have an English meaning at all. English words at all. It doesn't exist in English. Like one I would say is if at all you have children, they go to the kindergarten, and the person who takes care of these children, how do you call them? When the child goes to the kindergarten, and the person who is your child's teacher, that's how we say it, isn't it? We say kindergarten teacher, primary teacher, middle school teacher, high school teacher. But in German, auf Deutsch, wir haben einen besonders Wörter. Besonders is special words which does not exist in English at all. It's very interesting to really know about it, because these words doesn't have a literal meaning in English at all. Not even a close meaning, I would say. So the kindergarten teacher is called Erzieher. Okay. It's written like this. I'll just like put it down so that you know how it's pronounced. It's called Erzieher. She is an Erzieherinnen because it's a female. Erzieherinnen are is a person who takes good care of the kindergarten children alone. And this teacher, and then she becomes a teacher when the child goes into grade 1, because they think that till grade 1 they don't write, they don't read, they don't do many things that the grade 1 child does. In Germany, the educational system is very beautiful, that until the age of 7 years the children don't read and write. They start reading at times, but they don't write. That's the biggest advantage of being in Germany for children, is that what I saw as a mother, that they were really playing a lot. And this person is called Erzieher. Erzieherinnen are people who are teachers, who are people who take care of the kindergarten child, and is a female. Erzieher is a person who is a male. This word doesn't exist in English at all. Why do I have to bring this to your notice? Because you can't really find out a literal meaning in English. Instead, you can only find out a close meaning sometimes. Yeah. You can say, oh, maybe a caretaker. No, caretaker, they have a very different way of saying caretakers. Caretakers are people who take care of people who are in need. If at all they have a problem with their leg, or old people, sometimes medical reasons, they are caretakers. Otherwise, they are not called caretakers. Yeah. So you have these two words, which is called aufwachen und aufstehen, which are two different verbs. Yeah. So when we start writing into a sentence, yeah, so we actually have to say, did we do the clock? How to see the time? Did we see that last week?
Clock. No.
Clock, the time, we haven't seen it, right? Okay,
Yeah. No, I think so.
1 second. Okay. So the simple way of just writing down the sentences is like this: ish and okay. Before this, how we said there are verbs, there are two types of verbs: a separable verb and an inseparable verb. This also is a very new concept. For instance, I can just tell you one verb which is called spazieren gehen. Okay, and einkaufen gehen. Einkaufen gehen. And then you have Fernsehen. This you know. Fernsehen is to watch television. Okay. Spazieren gehen is to walk or to take a stroll. A slow walk. Generally, not a very fast paced training walk. It's a slow walk that you take around the park in your area or anywhere in the park. Einkaufen gehen is to go out for shopping. Yeah, because shopping by itself is a verb. Fernsehen is to watch television. There are certain verbs like this. Like this, you have aufwachen, which doesn't, yeah, which means to wake up. Aufstehen, which means, sorry, there shouldn't be any space between these verbs. Aufstehen is to get up from the bed. Yeah. So there are other verbs we will learn today. There are other verbs. For instance, singen. These are verbs you know already, right? Singen. What does singen means?
To sing.
To, to sing. Sehr good. Tanzen. What does tanzen means? To dance. So these verbs are called separable verbs, and these verbs are called inseparable verbs. And if you see the separable verbs in English as well, you see to wake up from the bed, or to get up from the bed, to go out for shopping, to watch television, to take a walk in the park. So there are many, many verbs like this, and it becomes a separable verb. So what is this separable verb? Just you need to have this small image of the milk. Yeah. For instance, if you're boiling the milk and I'm just going to squeeze out a lemon on the milk, what happens to the milk? What happens to the milk when you actually squeeze out lemon into the milk? Let me see whether the boys are good in the kitchen.
It turns to
It will separate like curd
That's,
or like
yeah,
curd.
good. So you have all been there into the kitchen, so you all know what happens. Okay, there was a group. They said lemon, it becomes milk lemon, lemon milk. I was like, I was like so shocked with that group because I said, are you just joking or really you don't know? Like that. Yeah, good. I'm glad that you all know. Because once, this is the first time that I saw as a child. Mm, they said about lemon tea, right? So my friend said we will make lemon tea. And I was like hardly sixth or seventh grader, I think. So I just, what I did was, I squeeze, she said so we have to squeeze the lemon into the tea. We added the milk packets that we used to get those days, no? The small packets. I added the milk powder, then added the lemon into it, and it became curd. So after that is when you start learning about chemistry and all that, then you'll know, right? Because of the citric thing, the milk gets curdled. So, there are certain instances that you know, have to know, but this group is like very, very shocking for me. So I would always say have this image of the milk curdling, which is like a separable verb, where you just like, there are verbs which is like mixed up together, but when it comes to a sentence, it curdles, means like it splits into two parts, and the first part alone goes to the end of the sentence. This this phrase you have to remember. You really have to write it in Malayalam. If you know Malayalam, nothing like that. If you know in your mother tongue, is nothing like that. I used to write it in Tamil. Sometimes it makes easy for us to really reflect on what it is. So if you have to say about what are separable verbs, the verbs which actually splits itself into two, and one part of the verb, the first part of the verb, goes to the end of the sentence. This is a separable verb. This is a very small grammar topic. We usually do a lot of things later, but why do I have to bring it is because the first verb that you start with your Tages Aktivitäten is aufwachen, which is a separable verb. For A2 is when you will start really like working very intensely with separable verbs. For A1, you need to know at least like these 10 separable verbs. That's what will come till the end. But you need to know how to write a sentence with that. So whenever you see a like a prefix, ein, auf, an, and then you have two big verbs like spazieren means to walk, gehen is to go, two verbs together. Yeah, einkaufen is shopping, gehen is to go. So two verbs, big verbs together, it is separable verbs. Otherwise, any verbs which has an prefix like these things, then it becomes a separable verb. So why do we need all these things? We will get to know right now. So as the separable verb goes, I will write my sentence as like this. Ich, okay, wache, because this aufwachen actually separates itself. Auf is part 1, wachen is part 2. Yeah. So the part 1 goes to the end of the sentence. That's what we said, isn't it? Ich wache um 6 Uhr ein. Ich wache um 6 Uhr ein. I'm going to write the literal translation of what it is. I, okay, wake
Mhm.
at 6 o'clock. Uhr is clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Up. That is what. Oh, sorry, not ein, auf. Sorry,
Oh,
auf. Sorry. Yeah, ich wache 6 Uhr auf. I wake, that is what actually separates it. I wake up at 6 o'clock. That up goes to the end of the sentence. That's what you need to remember in German. That's how the German grammar works. Yeah. The separable verbs, whenever you see, split it into two. The first part goes to the end of the sentence. That's what. My teacher used to tell me this, like you have a verb, it separates itself, and this goes to the end of the sentence. You need to know this. Like she used to do this action to us every time. Whenever we asked, she used to do this like this. That means like it's a separable verb. You have to take that to the end of the sentence. So either remember the action or the image of the milk curdling, then it becomes much, much, much easier for you to make those sentences. Yeah. Exactly the same way, aufstehen also has an auf. Yeah. So that is like also same thing. Ich stehe um
um,
6 Uhr
Uhr,
15 Minuten auf, which means I get up at 6:15. I get up. That get up, the up goes to the end of the sentence. That's all. This is the actually the most difficult part in learning the verbs. This is the only difficult part in learning the verbs. For instance, if you want to say singen, singen, all the inseparable verbs are very easy. Ich Ich singe gern. I sing well. Ich tanze gern nicht. I don't sing. I don't dance well. Ich lerne Mathe. I learn mathematics. Ich lerne Geschichte. I learn history. Ich lerne Deutsch. I learn German. So all these inseparable verbs becomes the most easiest way of writing sentence. This will be a little different. Yeah. So this is all about the separable verbs, and you need to know this because that is when you will know how to make those sentences. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. is this topic clear to all the three of you? Are there any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Ajmal and Shrijesh, is there any doubts or questions around this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, for instance, if you see this, this is the first thing. So we will just see that we are just going to take out all this because we know what it is. So I'll just close it. Maybe. Okay. So this is the first verb that we have learnt. And the next one would be, is going to take this English verb, then to brush. So the brush, the verb brush means puts in. Yeah, that's what we do immediately, isn't it? We brush our teeth. So puts in comes as no, maybe I'll write down the English. To brush is puts in. And this verb actually to brush the teeth is a verb which is called sena. Sena means the teeth. Yeah, sena puts in is to brush. Sena puts in. This is also a separable verb. You can see that. And how do we write a sentence? Ish. Any verb you take. Even before that, I would like to tell you one small thing about this. For instance, if you have there are like many verbs and you have the verbs, any verbs ends with an en ending, zingen, yeah, and we chop off the tail. And how do you say the first conjugation is zinger? That's all. And s is not capital because it's all verbs comes in small letters. Ish, tanza, yeah, ish, spiele, ish, schreibe. Schreibe is writing. Schreiben is the full form of the verb. Schreibe is like I write. Because what this conjugation is, we have spoken about it a little bit. Like I write, you write, he writes. We don't say he write, right? It's not what we say in English. That's called conjugations. And these conjugations are also there in German. And the first thing what you're going to see is this. So when it comes to Tagesaktivitäten, there are no, I would say there are three things that you will learn. One is verbs, about all the verbs that you need for a daily routine. The second is like the separable and inseparable verbs. And the third is how to conjugate the verbs in different pronouns. For instance, when I say, even in Tamil, we have this conjugation. Conjugation is nothing but how the verb changes its form from one pronoun to the other. In Tamil, we say, what do you say in Malayalam to read?
വായിക്കുക.
Once again?
To read, right,
Mm,
ma'am?
yeah.
വായിക്കുക. വായിക്കുക.
Okay. So if I'm going to say, I read, how will you say it?
ഞാൻ വായിച്ചു.
Okay. You read?
നീ വായിച്ചു.
Okay. He reads.
അവൻ വായിച്ചു.
Okay. They read.
അവർ വായിച്ചു.
Okay. So does not the verbs change?
Verbs, no.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Ajmal is thinking, looking at the wall. Now you have to tell us.
No, verb is
He's
not
thinking.
changes. Okay.
Verb doesn't change?
No, no. I think sentence.
But here, the pronoun changes, the verb also changes. Exactly. நான் படிக்கிறேன், நீ படிக்கிறாய், அவன் படிக்கிறான், அவள் படிக்கிறாள். But does it not tell you the gender? Like for instance, when I say அவன் படிக்கிறான், means it denotes padikiran means even if I don't know, yeah, I'm not saying about he, I know from the verb that it denotes a male person. Padikiran, padikiral. Padikiran means a male who is reading. Padikiral is a female who is reading. Does it not change like that in Malayalam?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay, so I think like it's a very different thing from German to Tamil. That's like many people tell me that very few things are very similar in Tamil and German, and this is one similarity is between Tamil and German actually for me, because exactly like how we say I write, you write, he writes, they write, yeah, and how I say I sing, you sing, he sings. SINGS we have in the exactly in Tamil also we have this conjugation, and so you can take the closest to be English for you. For me, it was Tamil because, yeah, yes, no, in Tamil also we have this. That's what was my initial first, spark. Because, oh, we have conjugations in our language. It is exactly the same in the other language. As you don't have it, you just like take your English as your closest language for now and say, yes, in English, I do write like that. If you write, he write a letter, it's completely wrong, right? It's
Yeah.
grammatically the sentence is wrong. He writes a letter. She writes a letter. It is maybe, for instance, to have. I have a book. You have a book. He has a book. They have a book. Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
is the difference between the pronouns. Yeah, so here as well there is conjugations, and the conjugation for ish is very simple. Just chop off the en and add an e to the end of the verb. So for instance, zingen, you can see that en has been chopped off, zing, and you have to add an e. That's all. Any verb you take for ish, any verb you take, chop off the en part from the verb and add an e to the ending of the verb. Is that clear? That is
Yes.
all. So any verb like stehen, for instance, you can see right here. Ich stehe. Can you see here? Because en has been taken out, the part has been divided, and the first part has been taken to the last end of the sentence. Stehe, wachen. It ends with an en, chop of en, wache, wache. Yeah. If I'm going to give you a few verbs to work on, let us see how you are able to find out so that we are much more clear in what we are doing. Okay. So, Ajmal, can you give me the conjugation for ish?
Ich lerne.
Sehr gut. Ich lerne. Sehr gut. Unterrichten. Ajil?
Ich
Mhm.
ich unterricht.
Spell it. U-N.
UNTERRICHE.
C-H.
TE.
T is sehr good. See, even do you know what's the meaning of Unterrichten?
No, ma'am.
Understand.
No, that's what it is. Even if you don't know the meaning of any verbs, you just need to know how it gets conjugated. Sometimes in your exams, it's very important. If at all you don't know the verbs, okay, I don't know what it means, but you can guess the verbs with the context. Just write ish. You can finish off. Ish unterrichte means I teach. That's what. Lehre. Lehre also means lehren. Lernen und lehren. Lernen is I learn. Shrijesh, can you give me the conjugation of this verb for ish?
Is lere.
Sehr good. Ich lehre means Unterrichten is like I have there is a teacher and there are like few students where we have a discussion in class which is called Unterrichten. Lehren is like really to teach alone is called Lehren. Yeah. And you have tanzen. Again, Ajmal, how do you conjugate this? Ish
Stanza.
tanze. Sehr good. And schreiben is to write.
Ich
How do you
schreibe.
schreibe? Sehr
Ich
good.
schreibe.
Ich
Yes.
schreibe. And
Schreibe.
Ajul, can you give me this? Lesen. Ich
Ich les. Lese. Lese.
lese. Lese.
Lese.
Yeah, good. Lesen is to read. Okay. So
Okay.
schreiben, lesen und hören. Hören, was bedeutet hören?
To hear.
To hear. Sehr
Hier.
gut. Shrijesh, can you give me the conjugation of this? Ich
Is here.
höre. Sehr good. So you understood this very well. So any verb you take for ish, you have to chop out the en and put an e to the ending of the verb. Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
a very like a practice that we can do like whenever we have time. We should do because there'll be lots of verbs that you will learn and yeah. So here when you come here, I now can you tell me it's a trend like separable verb. So how will the sentence go? Ish. What is the conjugation of the verb puts in to
Put.
brush?
Uh,
Ich putze.
would say.
Very good. Ish puts, okay. And you have to remember only this. Mir die Szene. I'll tell you what that means. But before that, I have a small text that you need to write down in your note, which is putze mir, wasche mir, ziehe, ziehe an. Okay. These are three things that you need to really write down. There is one more. I felt it was somewhere. 1 second. Hold on. Mm, One second. Just hold on. I'll just see whether there is that card which I have. Mm, that a little later. So am I? Is it clear? Okay. Ich putze mir die Zähne. So there are like as we said like separable verbs. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So as we have these separable verbs and inseparable verbs, we have something called reflexive verbs. Reflexive verbs are verbs that is an action that we do to ourselves. To take bath of myself, I wash my hand, I wash myself, my hand. Like of course, in English, the English people really make a lot of fun about these reflexive verbs at times because they say, yeah, if you're washing I'm washing myself, my hands is what is a German context. It That is how the sentence is framed. The English people say, yeah, right, I wash my hands is enough. Why is that myself comes into this picture? But that is how the language is because the Germans have always learned it like that. They have this. So mir means my own self, myself. Ich putze mir die Zähne means I brush myself my own teeth. That's what is a complete, sentence. That's how we use it. Yeah. So ich putze mir die Zähne. Zähne is teeth. Then you have the other one, to bath. For instance, if you have written to bath, ich dusche um 8, 8 Uhr. Okay. I take bath at 8 o'clock. Like whenever you said at 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, in between, for instance, if you have a training, some people do a lot of walking, exercise, then you can say to train or to exercise. We call it as ich trainiere ich trainiere jeden Tag. Jeden Tag means every day. It depends. Jeden Tag trainiere ich or ich trainiere jeden Tag means I train every day or I do sport every day or I exercise every day. That is what it is. Coming to jeden Tag, one thing that you need to know is jeden Tag means every day. For instance, if a person is doing exercise just for 3 days a week, okay, then you have the word called mal, einmal. And what do you think it could be? Zweimal,
Daily,
drei.
I mean, once in a week.
One, come again. Yeah, but still it has to be a little refined. How do we
Once in
say
a
that?
week. Once in a week.
Once in a week. That's right. Once in a week, twice or 2 days in a week, thrice, 3 days in a week. That is what it is. And remember only small things like this. To remember this, you just need to remember one thing, like how we have the curdling of the milk for some things. Then we have zwei mal zwei ist vier. This is an acronym. Zwei mal zwei is vier. What could you make out of this? 2 and 2, 4. What is it? 2? It's math.
Plus.
Okay.
Add.
Maybe. I think like this would be one thing. Ein mal zwei ist zwei. This is better because that adding and the other one is the same. Ein mal zwei ist zwei. Then you have zwei mal zwei ist vier. Sorry. Drei mal zwei ist sechs.
One part of 2 is
Still, you are thinking in the human realm. You have to go to the kindergarten, like not kindergarten, a grade 1 child. What will he learn? There is one word that I didn't still hear from all the three. Any
into
Multiplies.
into do the grade 1 child says multiplies? He won't even know what that multiplies.
Into.
Into, come on.
in
Into 12 into 2 up like that is like in your fourth grade. Think about a grade 1 child. How have you started learning your multiplication?
Counting finger.
That's right. But then 1 times 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2.
Ah,
2 times
correct.
2 is 4. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it is, isn't it, Avik? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but we forget, right? How we were in kindergarten or in grade 1. We always think in the human way, like the bigger adult way. But these are all like small things you need to know. Like mal means time. So einmal, zweimal, dreimal, viermal, and it goes on. Yeah. So it is like that. And so if you see ich trainiere einmal, and then you have the same things like how you have it in English per week. You say, right? 2 times per week or 3 times per week. Per, PER is pro of Deutsch. Okay, per in English is pro of Deutsch. Per week, Woche is the week. So ich trainiere jeden Tag pro Woche every day in a week, or ich trainiere zweimal pro Woche. Ich trainiere dreimal pro Woche and goes on. Hopefully, I always tell the boys, ich dusche 8 Uhr jeden Tag, which means like in the class, even in my grade 9, the boys don't even take bath for 2 days. That's what they said. I was like, my God, really? Your parents don't say? They will not know, ma'am. Like, we just like, Akka, we'll just go inside the bathroom, wash our face nicely, and come back. That's what it is all about. So I said, like, okay, so ich dusche 8 Uhr jeden Tag oder zweimal pro Tag. I do that. I have a very like I sweat a lot, so it's better for me to keep my heat down. I do that every day. Pro tag. Tag is day. Woche is week. All this will come into your picture. You have always, like, whatever you have learned, you can't leave it. You will get it revised and revised and revised with every single topic that we are learning. So ich dusche 8 Uhr zweimal pro Tag or 8 Uhr or zweimal pro Tag. Not every day, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the night also you can keep, but it is up to you. I'm just giving you an example, Beispielsatz, which means example sentences. You can write your own. And if you have some things, what is this? Like, you didn't tell us about how to say this. Bring it in so that the discussions can go on to learning more vocabulary also. Yeah, always questions are the best form of learning, is what I always believe. My teacher had a very tough time with me because I used to ask a lot of questions, not in school, but in Deutsch class. She'll say, "Oh my God, I'm so fed up. You just have to keep quiet." She used to tell me. And yeah, because I wanted to know why. That's why I'm able to tell you why am I bringing this separable verbs. I asked her, is it's so difficult? Why are you bringing this separable verbs? Then she told me, like, I have to bring the separable verbs because the first verb that you put into your daily routine is a separable verb. So how do I not bring this? Then I understood, okay, so that is the reason, like, the first verb is a separable verb. That's the reason I have to learn this. Otherwise, it is actually enough for us to learn the separable verbs in A2. A2, like at the end of A1, you will actually have not more than 10 separable verbs. If you know 10 separable verbs, that's it. That's all you need for your A1. But of course, we have to know at least that 10 verbs are very important. So that is what it is. Then you have something called a very the verb, which how we said there are verbs in English, sorry, in Deutsch, which is not in English. The first verb that is completely, I would say, like erzieher, I told you, right? Like that, we have something called breakfasting. Do we have something called breakfasting in in English? We don't have. You won't say I'm breakfasting at in the morning. We don't say that. Yeah. We say, yeah, I'm eating my food or I'm having my breakfast. Having my breakfast, which is a help verb. Having is a helping verb. So have my breakfast is two different things and you put it together to bring a sentence. But there is the beautiful verb right here, which is called frühstücken, which means to breakfast. Yeah, we don't have some things in English at all. Frühstücken is to have your breakfast or to breakfast, to have or to eat your breakfast. It's such a long one, but it's a very short one. to eat your breakfast is Frühstücken. I think I have to put this there and the other one so that it actually has one form in English and then Deutsch and then a sentence. Okay, so here as well, Duschen. And here maybe Isana puts in here, I have to write down trainieren. Yeah, goes on like that. Frühstücken is a beautiful verb, and you can say that it is the most easiest one. What could be the conjugation of Frühstücken, Shri Jesh?
Is froze to
Come again?
is froze sugar
Stücke,
sugar.
Stücke. Ja, ich frühstücke um 8:30 Uhr, which means 8:30. 8 o'clock I take a bath and 8:30 I have my breakfast. That is your morning routine. Done. The last one I would say for the morning alone. Yeah, it's not for the evening. It's just for the morning. Ich gehe, for instance, if at all you're going for work or going to the university to study, and you have verbs which says ich gehe, yeah, gehen. Zur is to, yeah, to. Zur Arbeit oder Universität. That's how it's written. Ich gehe zur Arbeit oder ich gehe zur Universität. So this is the main thing about the verb which we do in the morning. Is there anything that would like to add to these verbs? Any other verbs that you have written in English that did not come here in the morning routine, just between your 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock? That's all? No? For instance, if I'm going to ask you, I drink a coffee. How do you say that? Do you know the verb for drinking? Not
Drinker.
yet, right?
Trinket,
Trinken. Sehr
trinket.
good. Trinken. So, can you make a sentence, any one of you? Now, you
Ich trinke Kaffee.
cafe. Sehr good. Mit einer K. Coffee is C. So, anywhere you see a C, you have to replace it with K, and it becomes Ich trinke Kaffee. And tea, how do you say? I drink tea.
Ich trinke
Trinket.
Trinket
Huh? What is it? Ich
tea.
trinke? The same T-E-E, can you pronounce it in German?
Oh,
It's the same spelling,
Kie.
but it's not
tea.
T-E-A, it's T-E-E.
Ich trinke
Tea.
tea.
chai.
Thai.
Chai. Yeah. So ich trinke Tee. Tee. T-E-E is
Hey.
Tee. Yeah. Kaffee und Tee. These are two souls of the Germans. Tea, they don't drink a lot, but coffee, yes, a lot of coffee. And you know how the coffee is? When they smile, you can see brown teeth, a lot of brown teeth throughout Germany. They drink coffee, which is no milk, no sugar, and only the concoction, the decoction we call it, right? Just the freshly brewed coffee and so dark. I am a coffee lover, but the coffee they drink is like they also give us a cup, and I can't really handle that the strong flavor. It is like alcohol in another way. That's what I would say, because it can take you to a high. That is the amount of coffee they drink every day, and you can see that they always are with a cup in the office. They'll always hold a cup wherever they go. They will be they'll be drinking a lot of tea and coffee all through the day. They keep them very much hydrated, and they are very coffee people. And you can see a lot of shops in Germany which has coffee. You can go open out the coffee bean. There will be different coffee beans in containers, and you can go with a small measuring container. If you want only 100 grams, there is a container for that. 200 grams, you'll have a larger container. You can go there, open out this coffee bean container. The coffee bean will be filled into your cup. You can close it. You can go put it inside the brewing machine, and the final coffee powder, you can take it home in a Ziploc bag. It's so that fresh coffee that you can drink. It's not just instant. They prefer, like how they are bread people, they are also coffee people. Potatoes are very, very, very famous. They love pets. They are people who love hot food. Like really it has to be hot because the climate is mostly cold, so they really love hot food. So it goes on like that. And yeah, that is all about them. And I feel ich trinke Kaffee, ich trinke tea. And water, how do we say?
Walter.
Vasa. Ish.
Wasser. Ich trinke Wasser.
Vasa.
Ich trinke Wasser. And then you have breakfast, I eat. And this Frühstück, that comes from a verb which, like, it's like two things together, okay? Früh means ich stehe 4 Uhr. In case if I am getting up at 4 o'clock every day, then my friend says, "Oh, das ist zu früh für mir. It's too early for me." Yeah. Früh means early. Fruh means early. And Stück is piece. Where do we say pieces? Can you think in English? Where are all the places we use the word pieces? Heart broken into pieces. Yeah, that's there. But then not only that. Someone said in some class, I love this job because, sometimes they come up with certain things where you can't really take it out from your system. They said, pieces, where do you use? I did not even foresee this coming. He said, heart, it is broken into pieces, it seems. Okay, good. Anything else? You can't really tell them. Yeah. Anything else about apart from the heart? A cake. How do you say it?
Yes. Yeah. Pieces of cake.
Yeah, pieces of cake. Then what
Pieces
is
of
pieces in Malayalam?
kashnam.
Means pieces?
Yes,
Ah,
ma'am.
now think, where are all the words that you use this? Your word in Malayalam. Can't think. So you have this chicken biryani in front of you, okay? Then
Yeah.
won't you,
Chicken.
and you have only rice. So what will you say?
Really.
You
Please
won't say?
give
What is
pieces.
it, Ajil?
Please give me some pieces.
Yeah, that's right. So you have a piece of bread, piece of cake, piece of the cake, of course. And sometimes Anshtuk pen, for instance, there are like 12 one piece, but we don't say one piece, one pen we say in English. But in German we can even say when it is in a dozen, we take it out from a dozen, then it is also called a piece. Yeah. Stück means piece. Anything related with food, you can say, even if you remember, like one of the no, that's not for your group, the other group. So in one of the shopping videos that we saw, the person who sells it asks her, how many pieces of carrots do you need? You know, when you buy organic vegetables, it's not only in kgs, and it's not only in kilograms and grams, it is also in pieces. So if I'm going to say I just need like 6 pieces of carrot, she will pull the 6 pieces of carrot and weigh it and give it to you. That's the organic market in Germany. And gherkin is cucumber. For instance, our cucumbers are only like this long, right? Maximum. And the light green cucumbers are the country cucumbers, which is like even much more smaller. Like I've seen like very small pieces of small sizes, but the gherkin is almost this long in Germany. The cucumber is this long, and the outer skin is dark green, and we call it as gherkin. So they say like how many pieces? It's like one piece is enough for the whole family. So I won't get more than that. So ein Stück bitte means one please, one piece please. That's what I asked them. So Stücken is bits and pieces are Stücken, or so Frühstücken.
Spelling, ma'am.
Mhm.
Spelling. Stuka.
Stücken here. Frühstücken. The second part of it is S
Ah, Stuka.
T
Okay.
U umlaut CKEN. Yeah, Stücken.
Yeah.
That's pieces. Yeah, ich frühstücke not So when I make some mistakes, just let me know in case if I have. Yeah. So, ich gehe zur Arbeit oder zur Universität oder Schule. School, for instance, if at all Shri Jesh has just finished his school, so it would be like I go to the school today. Then ich gehe zur Schule. So it is all your morning routine alone. Yeah, we are going to stop this and learn little more verbs alone. Up- Of course, we will learn the sentence making because I don't want to bring all the sentence making in one class, which will be too much overloading for you. Yeah. So I'm going to send you to the breakout room. You have noted down, like, of course, you can just work because you're only 4 people here. You can just start working right here as well because I'm just going to do something else. So you can just work out between yourself the 6 things that you do in the morning and read it to me as one paragraph. For instance, I can give you an Beispiel. Ich wache um 6 Uhr auf und stehe um 6 Uhr 15 Minuten auf meinem Bett. My bed, in case if I want to add. Dann ich putze mir die Zähne. Zuerst putze ich mir die Zähne. First, I do that because for me, that is the most important thing. I have to brush my teeth, otherwise, I don't open my mouth. I don't like people also talking to me without brushing their teeth. Teeth. So that is one thing. Then ich trainiere nur 2 Tage pro Woche. I train only for 2 days a week because I do 2 days of yoga and 2 days of my abdominal workout. I had an operation in like 5 months before, and I've started doing it, of course. So it's only 2 days a week. So zweimal pro Woche. Ich dusche jeden Tag um 8 Uhr am Morgens und 6 Uhr am Abends. Once I finish my class, I take a bath. So it's like that. I have routines, so I can tell you the time when I take bath. For instance, ich frühstücke jeden Tag um 8:30 Uhr und ich esse Brot und Kaffee. Manchmal, sometimes we learned this word, right? Manchmal. Maybe you must have forgotten. We didn't use it after a long time. We are using this. Manchmal esse ich dosa und chutney. Sometimes I eat dosa and chutney. Yeah. Dann gehe ich zur Arbeit. I go for work. Usually that's what is my routine now. But initially, if it was this non-corona times, it is like ich wache um 5 Uhr auf. Ich wache und stehe um 5 Uhr auf. The minute I open my eyes, I'm out of my bed because it's like ich putze mir die Zähne. Ich mache meinem Frühstück um 6 Uhr. Dann dusche ich 6:30 Uhr. 6:30 I take bath. Ähm, äh, Vielleicht 6:45 Uhr, 6:45, ich packe meinem Mittagsessen. For children, I would just like pack some things for their lunch. And then ich koche 6 Uhr. I cook at 6 o'clock. Then ich gehe zur Schule 7:15 Uhr. 7:15, I'm out of my house in the morning. That is my non-corona times. Yeah. So you can think of when you want to, like when and what you have to add on. But you can add on like six and just tell me as one whole passage. That's your work. Don't give each one some time. Take one verb and you write yours. Yeah. And if you have any doubts, you ask them. Ask the other. This is what I've written. Is that right? That's what will be your discussion all about. Yeah. And you go for the next 15 minutes maximum, not more than that. So you won't need more than that, but just like see to that you are done with all the six sentences. Yeah. So I'm muting my video and stopping the sharing so you can really do your work with your this thing. Yeah, I'm just like muting and stopping my. Absolutely no discussions. No? A- Ajmal, I can see you only smiling.
Mhm.
No, ask each other. That's when you will talk, right? Maybe next time I'll send you to the breakout rooms so that you can speak. No? Yeah,
Mm,
maybe. Yeah. Any doubts? Any questions?
Then what you call in newspaper reading in Deutsch?
Yeah, that's a nice question because we say this as I'll just like clear all my drawings. Zeitung. First, you need to know what it is. Newspaper of Deutsch is die Zeitung. Okay,
Okay. Mm,
and this is newspaper. And if you are reading it from a message, for instance, now it has become a part of our lives that we read through WhatsApp and all messages. That's called die Nachrichten. Both are very, very different verbs, which doesn't have any similarities between English. So the Zeitung, Zeit, and but the Germans, like um, yeah, the newspaper. The news which comes on the paper is called a newspaper. Likewise, the Zeitung means die Zeit, means time. Yeah. So whenever I say about time, then it comes like die Zeit is the time, and the timeline is what the newspaper tells us all about. How it is before and now and future. So die Zeit is newspaper. Nachrichten is messages. So I would say, ja, ich lese die Nachrichten. Ich lese die Zeitung um 7 Uhr morgens. Ja, um. Means on, at, sorry, 7 o'clock in the morning. That is how it is.
Danke.
Bitte. Any other doubts? Any other questions?
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
I'm just talking, but I didn't switch on my mic. So I just said, yeah, you can read your passage. It's 15 minutes, and I said we can read your passage. Anyone wants to go first? Can go first.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
what you call in watering in garden in Deutsch?
Gartenarbeit. You can just like do this. Gardening is like, gardening includes your everything, like your digging from the sand to watering. You take care of the whole place, just like how you take care of your home. Then you can say, ich mache Gartenarbeit jeden Tag 5 Uhr abends. Like you can, oh, 5 Uhr, and pick up percentage. 5 Uhr abends, which can give you a very clear, as for a A1 level, it is nice to bring morgens and abends, unless, until you know how to really say time in German. You can just stick on to this until we learn that. When you know about the clock, for say, like for instance, you do gardening every day at 5 o'clock. Then of Deutsch in standard form, we just say 17 Uhr, means like 17 hours. And 17 Uhr 30. So there are like standard way, like how we have the standard time and the casual time. We say 22 hours, which means 10 o'clock in the night. You can do that or this way, but this way is the most easiest one for now. So you can do that.
Thank you.
Bitte. And any others? Any other questions? No? Okay. So anyone would like to go first? You can read your passage. That would be wonderful. No one? Ajil?
Yeah. Ich wach 7 Uhr auf. Ich stehe 7 Uhr 20 Minuten auf.
Mhm.
Ich putze mir die Zähne. Ich trainiere,
Good.
right?
Ich trainiere. Sehr gut.
Trainiere jeden Tag. Ma'am, if I use sometimes, manchmal ich lese die Zeitung.
Sehr gut. Manchmal lese ich die Zeitung. Sometimes I do that.
Yeah.
And if you don't ever do that, now you know every time, every day, then you have sometimes, some days, yeah, jeden Tag or manche Tage means like some days, yeah.
Some days. Okay.
Manchmal is sometimes. When you don't do it, like you don't never do that, how will you say that? Niemals, N-I-E, niemals trainiere-ich, for instance, if I want to say, I don't have to work out at all. There are like my very close friends who are just the same 45 kgs from the beginning of their life to the end of their life, as now like they stand at 45 years old and they are still like, of course, my older to me by 10 years, but we are all in the same community. I have seen people who are very, very lucky. She eats like a pig, I can tell you. She can eat anything, like cakes and everything she eats. She doesn't put on a single kilogram of weight. That's what the body really like is like. So yeah, so ich trainiere niemals, for instance, if I want to say, niemals habe ich eine Zeitung gelesen. This is a very thing which is very opposite to what the Germans do. Germans read a lot. They look into the the news. And I told you, right, the teacher always carries an umbrella and it will rain, we will only get wet because we are so dumb. We don't ever, we think that the weather forecast is just like India. I have thought so. Whenever they say it's raining, it will not rain. Whenever they say they will not rain, there'll be flood in Chennai. They said like, no, no, it's going to stop. And the next day it was like completely flooding away. So, that is very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is that's what there is a very very some kind of humor which goes into the WhatsApp. Like last 2 weeks before I read, they said we call Krishna as a Neela Megha Kanna, which means like the Krishna is in the color of the clouds. And wherever you see in Mahabharata or somewhere, Krishna is blue in color.
Allah,
So
yeah.
when they say the weatherman, if he doesn't know from blue to the dark cloud, how can he really say that whether it's going to rain or not? That is like a small humor that goes around, like we never accept that people are dark in India. They really put. I also saw a very beautiful stand-up comedy which a person did, and he says about like how dark born he is, and he
Yeah, I just hear that also. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just before that week I read about this weatherman's this joke, and I when I heard this was like very hilarious, like, yeah, that's what is in India. I thought the same thing because I'm born and brought up, but there it's not like that. It is very accurate. It will rain at 3 o'clock, exactly 3 o'clock, at least you'll have some shower. I always think even German gods are very punctual, giving them rain and snow at the right times at times. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Yeah. Okay. Please
Yeah.
continue.
Then um, ich frühstücken 9 Uhr.
Frühstücke. That N
Frühstücken.
I should not hear. Yeah. Whenever you conjugate and ish comes, I don't want to hear that N. That is the first training that you're going to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Frühstücken.
Yeah. Danke.
9 Uhr.
Mhm.
Ich fahre zur Main Arbeit.
Zur mein Arbeit. Do you go to office even now, Ajil?
No, ma'am. I'm
You're
working
working
from
from
home.
home.
Yeah.
Okay. But usually otherwise you go to your office.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, fine. Okay. So Shrijesh, can you go next, please?
Ich fahre
Mhm,
7 Uhr.
mhm.
Ich putze mir die Zähne.
Zena. Zena.
Zähne.
Mhm,
Ich trainiere Tag pro Woche.
mhm.
Ich das what do you mean walking?
Dushin. It's Dushin. Mhm,
Duschen Ahad or
mhm.
Zaimal Protect
Zweimal pro Tag. Sehr gut.
is I dry
Ich.
one minute.
Yeah.
It's is is like die
Mhm.
what do you mean this Morgan what I write
Morgen. Morgen means morning. Abends means evening. And the midday is called Mittag. Mittag means the midday. Nacht means the night. Yeah, that's why we say Guten Morgen, Guten Abend, Gute Nacht. All this is like morgens, evenings, and night. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. Is Frachten and Ahad is Ab or school.
Okay. Danke sehr. Abik, can you go next?
Okay, ma'am.
Mhm.
Ich wage sieben. Mm, Ich putze mir
Mhm.
dies sagen.
Zena.
Zena.
Mhm.
Now, what is the word for gym? Gym is also train or exercise.
Trainieren gym also is that exercise, and like gym you can just for now you can use trainieren, which means
Okay,
like to train yourself. Yeah.
okay. Ich trainiere jeden Tag.
Mhm.
Ich äh, ich dusche
Dusche, ja,
um ähm, New New
9 Uhr. Okay, sehr gut. Okay. Mhm.
äh, ich Uh, First ski, new tatty, so tatty,
Tatish. Yeah.
titis.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is uh, is
Mhm.
zut to college, university.
Universität. Yeah. Ich gehe zur Universität. Sehr gut, Abik. Yes, Ajmal, it's your turn. Du kannst das lesen.
Okay. Ich wache um 38 Uhr auf.
Mhm.
Ich trinke Wasser.
Mhm.
After that,
Ja.
ich putze mir die Zähne.
Okay.
Ich dusche 7 Uhr
Okay.
jeden Tag.
Jeden Tag. Mhm.
Ich mache Gartenarbeit jeden Tag
Mhm.
7:30 morgen.
Okay.
Ich frühstücke,
Mhm.
frühstücke
Frühstücke. Ja, sehr gut.
und 8 Uhr,
8 Uhr. Okay.
8 Uhr. Ich lese die Zeitung um 8:15.
Mhm. Okay.
Ich mache Lehre 38 in mir Haus.
Okay. So you also like teach them from home. Is that what I
Yeah, yeah.
understand? Okay. So
Yes.
one thing that you could also add, for instance, like of course in your practice, if you have praying as one of your morning routines, I do also pray for like 60 minutes. I have a meditation routine at 5:30 if I get up. I do it for 40 minutes. If I get up at 6, then it becomes like 25 minutes to 30 minutes. That verb is called beten. Beten. Yeah, because it's like your daily routine, right? Like you pray at times, you do your meditation, you do your yoga. All these are some things like beten means to pray. So you can say ich bete jeden Tag 5 Mal, for instance. Yeah, I heard. I think Ajmal, are you able to hear us? I don't think so. He's frozen for me. Is he frozen for you as well, Ajal?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ah, now I think he has come back. Ajmal, can you hear us now? Yeah, so let him join us. So, if at all there is a practice of doing 5 times a day, that's like how they do it, right? Most of the Islamic people, they really pray for 5 times a day. Then you can just say, Ich bete 5 Mal pro Tag, 5 times a day. That is a routine for them. It's a part of routine. It's not just like I have seen my friends who are very, very sincere, and they really do it 5 times a day. Even at school we have a small space where they can just go and pray. Yeah, so that also has to come to your daily routines when you do it on, like, because all these verbs are very important for you to know. Ajmal, can you hear us now? I don't think so. He's stuck somewhere. His network or issues. Okay, so Baton is to pray. So that is all what we have. For instance, I just wanted to 1 second. I'll just close out many things and maybe second. Okay, so and I can just like send you this. It's a very nice one about Tagesablauf auf Deutsch and Wortschatz und Sätze, which means like it is the I would say the words, the vocabulary, and sentences. So I'm just going to show you, as well as I'll send you the website, the link for the website. You can just copy it down somewhere, or maybe send it like copy it down in your laptop, or just take a screenshot of it. It's called the Deutsche Blog. It's very nice. I really did this when I was in A1. I used to stick on to this Deutsch Lerner blog, which has a lot of nice things. It really helps us to write sentences in different ways. Yeah. So, for instance, like, there are many verbs that you can say. The simple ones, we have done it. If you see, there are so many, you don't have to really see so many, but there are sometimes, like, for instance, this word, this sentence. Can you see that I have highlighted one sentence? Can you see that?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, good. So that one is called, I'll just like increase the font for you so that you are much more, it's clear. So, ich stehe normalerweise Viertel. Okay, that we will come back. Normalerweise stehe ich halb acht auf. Normalerweise means normally. Yeah. And this is not just the blog for this exercise alone. You can just look into this blog whenever you have some time. It would be wonderful for you to really pick out some sentences and then write down. For instance, see this one here. Ich mache das Frühstück. You know what Frühstück means, the breakfast. Ich mache das Frühstück und frühstücke dann allein. I do the breakfast and eat my breakfast alone. Then means then, Then in English. Dann allein means then I breakfast alone. That's what it means. Then you can see here. Ich mache oder koche Kaffee. We don't say ich mache Kaffee. Mostly, usually they use ich koche Kaffee. We don't cook coffee, but they say it as they cook coffee sometimes. Ich mache oder koche Kaffee für mich, for me. Und meinen Mann, for my husband. Or that Mann can be anything, like mein Mann, meinen Partner, meinen Freund, meine Frau, my wife, meine Partnerin, meine Freundin. Yeah, partner and Mann, Frau is very different. When I say Mann und Frau, sie sind verheiratet. They are married. When I say Partner und Partnerin, that means they are living together. They are yet to get married, but they are living together in the same house. So that's Partner und Partnerin. Mann und Frau is man and, like, yeah, the husband and wife. Freund und Freundin means the friends. So you have to have this clear understanding in India when we say friend to our parents at times, and you bring a girl, immediately there would be like, is it your girlfriend? There is nothing like a girlfriend boyfriend business right there. Either you are in a relationship with this girl or she is a friend of yours. That's it. So it's a very clear distinction between Partner, Partnerin, Freund, Freundin, Frau und Mann. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and this one, for instance, just read certain sentences to really like see what they eat. Zum Frühstück means for breakfast. Esse ich ein Brot mit Wurst oder Käse und trinke einen Tee. For breakfast, esse ich. I eat ein Brot. A bread with Wurst is sausage. Oder means or. Käse is cheese. Und trinke einen Tee. I drink a tea. Yeah. For here, the other person says, ich esse Müsli und trinke ein Glas Milch. I eat muesli and I drink a glass of milk. Or the milk can be eine Tasse Kakao zum Frühstück. Kakao is nothing but the chocolate drink, the cocoa drink we say, right? That is what it is. For instance, if you are reading Zeitung, very well and good. Yeah. For instance, for see, this is a very different one for us. No, can somebody read it? I don't ever even want to read that.
Nah,
Yeah.
Nach
Uh-huh.
them
dem Frühstück
Frühstück putze
se ich
ich
gesehen.
nie die sehen.
What does that mean?
Break
Breakfast.
Nach is after.
Okay.
Actually, it's like, oh yeah. But the thing is, they brush in the morning as well. Okay. It's not that they don't brush in the morning. They brush in the morning. But after that, after breakfast as well, they brush the second time so that nothing sticks onto their mouth. It's just cleaning it again. Yeah. First time when you just see this sentence alone, it is very weird for us, right? Who will really have a breakfast and then, yeah, I know like people who drink coffee, like, bed coffee, they call it. But Frühstück breakfast, I can't really imagine. I hope this is not the same. Yeah. And yeah, you can see like now some morning routine verbs, right? Look at these sentences to see what are all the words that you can take into your writing. For instance, the most easiest one is somewhere, yeah, otherwise is this: mein Wecker klingelt halb sechs, which means mein Wecker. Wecker is the alarm clock. It klingels. Klingel is like to ring at halb sechs means like 5:30. Yeah, halb sechs. Halb means half. So look at this. At least take 10 sentences from this and just try to translate. Yeah, you will have a very good vocabulary when you start doing this on a daily basis. At least 5 sentences every day. 5 sentences add up to 25 sentences per week. If you even just like leave off your Wochenende, the weekend, but your vocabulary will be very good. Leave out when you don't know, just leave out, but normal sentences you can. For instance, yeah, of course, nach dem Aufstehen gehe ich zuerst auf die Toilette. Yeah, that's true. Like when you have to pass stools, then you say, first I go to the toilet and then ins Bad. Danach dusche ich. That is people's routine. Some people, when they wake up, they have to use the toilet. So even you need to know, ich möchte auf die Toilette gehen. You have to say that. For instance, you are in a big thing and you want to go out. You can't just walk away. Of course, you don't have to say that you have to go to the toilet. But sometimes you need to know how to use. Wo ist die Toilette? For instance, if you're going into a mall, you never know the signs. Sometimes the signs are not visible. You need to ask a person, where is the toilet here, or where do I go for my like where do I go? Then immediately they will show you, you have to go to the second floor and that's where is the toilet. So you need to know. So of the toilet again is to use the toilet. Ins Bad and Dusche. Bad is a real, Baden und Duschen are two different things. Baden is like your so, like nicely you are in your bathtub and take a lot of time to bathe in, which means like it takes minimum half an hour. But duschen is a quick shower. You just go under the shower, just take 5 minutes to take bath and come out. So baden und duschen are two different things, like how aufwachen und aufstehen are. They are two different things. Yeah. So these are some websites that I really used to love, reading it, because like Essen, for instance, you see this sentence. Dann essen wir zu Mittag. Dann is like then. How we have to, every sentence cannot be standing alone sentences. It has to really gel with the previous sentence. That's how a passage is, right? Dann essen wir zu Mittag means then we eat our lunch. And ich esse mit meinem Mann, meinem Vater, Sohn, Freund zu Mittag. But here you can see all these three sentences and see how it is written for der, die und das. Der Mann, der Vater, der Sohn, der Freund. Die Frau, die Mutter, die Tochter, die Freundin, die Familie. All are die, yeah. Then you have das Kinder, oh, sorry, die Kinder und die Eltern in plural. So all of this is fine. Yeah, just look at that and then you can see. Mittags esse ich in der Mensa. Mensa is nothing but the mess. Mess, not that mess what we make when we put something down. Mensa is like a canteen, but a canteen of your school or your office. That's what is a canteen which belongs to the same institution. If you are going to eat every day in a restaurant in the afternoon, then you will say mittags esse ich ins Restaurant, which means in the restaurant. You can look at it and see how it works out. Just for the morning routine, think about different sentences. That is what will be your work for Wednesday. Wednesday, we will anyway have some conversation class where we will learn only about like speaking. When it comes there, then we will have some conversations about like how you speak to the other, how each one of you introduce yourself. That will be your work. Apart from that, little bit from here we can take it into a conversation to see how to speak the language. Yeah,
Yeah.
hope yeah, so hope you have you have copied down your blog, the Deutsche blog. It would be very useful. There are other themes that you have already learned, so you can just look at all the themes that you have learned already, and then maybe just go on with this. I think that's all I have for today. And yeah, Fragen, haben Sie Fragen? Do you have questions?
No.
Nein? Dann
Nein.
sehen wir uns wieder am Mittwoch um 4 abends. Tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen, man.
Choose,
Auf
ma'am.
Wiedersehen.
Yes.
Tschüss. Ajmal,
Choose, ma'am.
you were stuck that time. Choose Abik.
It was just network issue, ma'am.
Yeah. So I was just telling them about your, like one thing is to pray, which is beten. Shrijesh, if you want to
Yes.
leave, you can leave. Choose Shrijesh. Yeah.
Accuse me.
Choose. So beten. So I know my friend who prays
I
5 times a
noted that.
day. Yeah, you have noted it down. Okay, fine. Yeah. That is your that is what we were discussing. That's it. I just wanted to tell you that. Okay, cheers, Ajmal.
Thank you.
Peter, cheers.